All right, hi everybody, welcome back. We have a new website I'm going to be reviewing today. Everybody's talking about this, the conservative platform. It's called Parler, and people are looking at this as an alternative to Twitter. A lot of people that have conservative voices are being taken down or their tweets deleted on Twitter. So this is, and Facebook too. So, or you're getting fake news checks on Facebook. Facebook's doing a lot of fake news checks, and people are saying that the two platforms are biased, big tech, all that. So here's a new site called Parler, and I like to sign up for new sites. If nothing else, I'd like to get my domain up here. As you can see, parler.com, profile attorney Steve. If a site's going to be big and it's going to be around, I like to get in and get my handle, set up a little profile, link to my video channel here. So, but here's the site. It's pretty cool looking. As you can see, it's real clean. It allows you to follow different people. But what I wanted to talk about in this video was coming down here to the user agreement. Let's take a look at that. Okay, you always need to know what you're signing up for when you're going on the internet. This is no exception here. So you want to know what are you signing up for. Now, here is their user agreement. I like it because it's short. It's about 5 pages, as you can see. And now I'm just going to hit a couple of the key points that I think you should be aware of. This is valid as of 2/27/19. That's last year sometime. I think they've been around since 2018. Don't quote me. But you need to be over 13 years old, so forth and so on. You can pause this and read it if you want. I'm not going to read everything here. But the part I did want to focus on is any content that you post to the services must satisfy all of the following criteria. Okay, you confirm that you have the legal right to post the content. Okay, now this is important. This comes up right here as well. Let's just talk about, I mean, these all kind of tie into each other, but you can read them if you want. But copyrighted stuff, this is a big deal because people are being sued. Our firm does copyright infringement, for example. So a lot of firms are getting sued for copyright infringement. They're being harassed for like online photo infringement, things like that. Make sure you have the rights to the things that you post. Now, one thing I like to do, Attorney Steve tip, is I join the iStock Photo. I don't have any interest in it. They don't pay me anything. I'm not a spokesperson, but I like it. iStock Photo, it's a Getty site. I get videos, I get things like that, but I pay for them, so I license them. So when I'm posting things, I am posting things that are licensed. So I don't want to have any problems. Okay, now here's why this becomes important with Parler. Okay, here's another one, and I'll get that to you in 1 second. But the content does not include non-public, personal, private information. That can actually be a tort when you're posting private information with no legitimate purpose. That can actually be a tort under the state law of many states. Now, for example, in California, they have the tort of privacy, which is actually 4 different torts. But one of them is posting private information publicly for no legitimate purpose. So they talk about some of these things. You must also comply with the community guidelines. I'll give you a quick look at that in just a second. But these are the main things you need to make sure what you're doing. Now, here's why it's important. You can read this by posting things. You give everybody else a right to use it, publish it, share it. So don't act, if you post something and somebody shares it, you can't go get up in a flame and want to sue somebody for copyright infringement. Here's a section on virtual items. You can read that if you want. Pause it and read it if you want. But here's where it's important. And again, they re-emphasize copyright infringement, which is why I'm pointing this out, is not allowed on the service, and they can terminate the account of a repeat infringer. That is a DMCA requirement to have some sort of policy to delete repeat infringers. That's a DMCA requirement. So here they have their information for the DMCA if somebody wants to do a takedown. Now, what's interesting to me is, let's go back. We don't want to go there yet. What's interesting to me is that they reserve the right to remove any content and terminate your account. Now, this is what people were complaining about with Twitter and Facebook. They're like, oh, they'll just delete my post. And so it's not like this is different. It looks like they have the same ability to delete your post. And this is what I'm going to do a separate video on the Communications Decency Act, Section 230. This is what gives these online platforms liability waivers where they don't have to worry about liability. But the talk of the town, the things that are going on in DC, things they're talking about right now is if you have the power to remove a post or fact check a post, are you becoming editorial in nature? Should you lose your Section 230 exemptions from liability? Should you lose that? So I find this interesting. They can remove your content. And the final thing that I want to say here is this. You agree to arbitrate any dispute that you have with them. Okay, we get it. You can read that if you want. But where is it at? Here it is, section number 14. This is the one I want everyone to be aware of. It says you agree to defend and indemnify Parler as well as any of its officers, directors, employees, agents, from and against any and all claims, actions, damages, obligations, losses, liabilities, costs or debts and expenses, including but not limited to all attorney fees arising from or relating to your access and use of the services. Parler will have the right to conduct its own defense at your expense in any action or proceeding covered by this indemnity. So if you post something, for example, that was defaming somebody, let's say somebody comes at Parler and says you don't have Section 230 exemptions because you're editing and editorializing and things like that. Let's say we get to that point. And you get sued for defamation, or they sue Parler for defamation, libel, slander. It wouldn't really be slander because it's online, but they sue them for libel. They sue them for copyright infringement, defamation, and you get sued and they get sued. They're going to put the defense on you. So you have to be very careful when you're using this site and other sites. You know, a lot of times you're going to find this, what we call indemnification clause. And you're agreeing to this. When you click I agree and you join up, you are agreeing to this. So that is that. This is this. You can see the community guidelines. Again, I like it. It's really clean. They talk about spam and they give you some tips on what to do. I'm not going to go over these. If you want to read it, go to the site, get your handle, lock your handle in. They give you a citation to different code sections. Terrorists, like for example, the content, they don't want terrorist organizations are forbidden from using the site. And they have definitions here. They give you a little bit of advice, which I like, which I think is really neat in a policy. Unsolicited ads, they give you case advice. Here it is, defamation, libel, and slander. Both libel and slander are forms of defamation. Libel is found in print. Slander is in speech. Okay, so they're talking about this different things. Here's a case. A private individual argued that the post was defamatory. Here it is. You can read it if you want. If you're not sure before you post, go read this stuff. Fighting words or threats to harm. Fighting words are the use of incitements to violence that produce a clear and present danger or a personal assault with the intention of inviting the other party to fisticuffs. I love that word, fisticuffs. So those kinds of things are permitted. Here's a case, and I'm probably going to print out some of these cases. I think this is really good general stuff, and I may talk about a couple of these cases in future videos. Make sure to bookmark. Blackmailing somebody, here's a case, trying to blackmail somebody online. Pornography, okay? So there's a lot of stuff. Indecency, obscenity, plagiarism, here we go, violations of trademarks, intellectual property, on and on and on. So those are some of the terms. Like I said, I think it's an interesting site. We'll see how it goes. Will it become just another site like Twitter and Facebook where your posts are being filtered, or is it going to be, as they're advertising, the free speech rights, the platform for free speech and engagement? We'll find out. I'm going to try it out a little bit, have a couple chats here and there, see what people are talking about, and just get a feel for it. So that's a new site for you, Parler.com. Check it out if you're interested. Have a great day. This is general legal information only, not legal advice.